You know, I don't know how I did it, but when I ended the last episode, I saved it as day 1 start, and the answer is no, it's day 2 start. I don't know what I was doing. Anyway, hey guys, welcome back to Disco Elysium. We're gonna figure this out. Let's see. By the way, I should probably mention this. This has probably happened in it. Whoa. Okay. That room's open. Okay, so I guess we should talk to Kim, at the very least, first. I'm just looking at all of the things. There's a lot to unpack here. And let's get going.
Morning.
He gives you a quick nod. I was hoping you'd be voice acted. At least for this part, because I started drinking. Anyway. Looks like we can get to work at once. The union muscles turned up. He points to the mess hall doors. They look rowdy. We should talk to them. What do you mean, rowdy? I mean, ungovernable. Martinez isn't exactly enthusiastic about the RCM being here. They prefer to be policed by the Union, these men here. Men who drink beer for breakfast? There's talk of an armed wing of the Union called the Hardy Boys, who are responsible for said policing. I think it's them. These the men Gart told us about yesterday? I completely forgot. He looks at his notes. Sorry, I had a rough night's sleep. It's them by the looks of it. Loud and nasty, just like the manager said. He crosses something out. One loose thread to worry about. Or one loose thread less to worry about. And one big problem to replace it. So many of them. Maybe we should call in reinforcements. That would just escalate tensions. No captain would sign off on it. Wow, I can't read right now at all. Solving one murder isn't worth conflict between the RCM and Deberder's Union. In fact, even the death of 2 detectives might not warrant an all-out war. Let's keep a cool head, okay? Let's roll. Oh, one more thing before you do. He glances at the booth again. We don't have to talk to them immediately. We can walk right past them, continue with our business. Yeah, streetwise, zoom right past, do it on your own terms. But are you curious to know what they have to say about the murder? They're in no hurry to leave. They think they own the place. Anyway, I leave the choice to you. Whatever you decide is fine by me. Well, I guess let's start with the usual suspects. So,
Can I help you?
bill for tonight. Got the real. Got the real. Good, you got the room for the night. But remember, you'll need another 20 real tomorrow. Well, he had nothing new to say, and that's good, actually.
Just a moment.
The old woman turns back to the cafeteria manager. She's agitated, judging by the way she keeps pulling at the frayed edge of her blanket.
And there's no public phones nearby.
The closest phone booth is down the coast. Sorry for the inconvenience, ma'am.
The cafeteria manager appears genuinely apologetic.
It's fine. I understand. Thank you anyway. I'm glad to see you again, dear.
Good day, ma'am. Everything all right?
Please don't trouble yourself about me, sweetie. I was just hoping to make a call, but the Whirling's phone line isn't working. The union office probably has a phone, but I can't really get there. Or to the phone booth down the coast. And Gary's phone is dead too.
Wait, what's wrong with the phone
The
line?
manager was vague about it.
She frowns. Why would he be vague about phone problems? This is something to look into later. Ask Gart, maybe. Why do you need to use the phone, anyway?
To let the young woman who is house-sitting for us know that we may be delayed. Morel, my husband, and Gary were supposed to be back on Monday night, but they're still missing and I haven't heard from them. I was also hoping she'd heard from Morel.
Okay, I'll bite. Has your husband gone missing before?
That's just it. This isn't like him at all. He always plans his expeditions so carefully. But you have more important things to worry about.
He glances out the window towards the bay. So your husband's some kind of scientist? Oh yes, she says with a pinch of pride. A zoologist. A cryptozoologist, to be more precise. What is cryptozoology? It's a pseudoscience that attempts to legitimize research into mythological beasts and urban legends. The lieutenant sounds unimpressed. That's one opinion, yes. And people are entitled to their opinions. She's used to playing off such insults casually, but they still affect her. My apologies, ma'am. I did not mean to undermine your hobby. It's not a hobby, dear. It's a subfield of zoology, one specializing in animal species that are so exceedingly rare that many assume them to be extinct or even fictitious. Searching for such species called cryptids is difficult and often thankless, and frankly, many scientists are too lazy to do it. Universities these days are rarely interested in supporting real research. The quality of research at Revicolian universities has been on the decline, but you doubt there was ever a time when cryptozoology was embraced by the academic elite. What's this expedition your husband was on? Just some fieldwork, sweetie. Morel is a highly trained scientist. He and his assistant, Gary, are studying an extremely rare species of insect, but they should have returned by now. They were just going down the coast across the waterlock to set a few traps. He said they'd be back on Monday, she sighs. What could be keeping them? The waterlock that was broken. Could this be it? Wait, who's this Gary person? Do you trust him? She smiles. Oh, sweetie, it's nothing like that. Gary is as loyal as they come. I'd trust him with my husband's life any day. The waterlock to the other side of the coast is broken. They're probably just stuck over there. Oh my, what happened to the waterlock? Probably some you know, I really don't know. Well, whatever the cause, whatever the cause, I'm thankful. She turns to Kim. To both of you, you've spared me another sleepless night. Welcome, ma'am. She turns back to you. I hate to ask, but if your investigation takes you to the other side of the coast, please do keep an eye out for my husband. This will surely lead to a cryptozoological mystery with that extremely rare insect. Yes, some left-field scientific research is exactly what you need right now. Funk up that vanilla murder investigation. And if you see him, let him know that Lena's waiting for him here at the Whirling. He gets so tangled up in his work that he may not know the waterlock's been repaired. And it's cold out there. If I see him, I'll let him know you're here. When or if I get there. Oh, you're such a dear. Thank you, sweetie. Tell me more about Morale. Looks, character, your relationship. Oh dear, I'm not sure where to begin. What's he look like? Well, his expression is slightly grumpy, but his eyes are always bright and curious, like a small boy's, and his palms are quite coarse from all the field work, but he's quite gentle. Let's try again. If I were trying to meet him on the street, what would I look for? Oh, well, he's a bit shorter than you, but with a larger frame, and he has longish white hair, usually a bit uncombed, you might say, wild even. Lieutenant pulls out his notebook and begins jotting down the woman's description. One thing, he'll likely have all kinds of field gear on him. Even if he's not out in the reeds, you know, just in case. How long have you been married? We'll be celebrating our 16th anniversary this autumn. Her smile is soft. Not the most numerically satisfying anniversary, but I like it, like the less obvious milestones even more somehow. How'd you two meet? Via a dating agency, I'm ashamed to say. I was looking to get back into the scene after recovering from my accident, and he just divorced. We hit it off, and, well, here we are. She smiles wistfully. She's skipping over important parts. Perhaps you'll find out more later. Let's move on. Tell me more about this rare insect your husband's looking for. Oh, sweetie, it's fascinating, she catches herself, but I wouldn't bore you with the entomological minutiae. The lieutenant gives you a sideways glance. No, I want to hear about the insect. Well, she hesitates. It's a phasmid, technically, but... Ah yes, Phasmatodea, a diverse group of insects whose bodies resemble twigs, leaves, that sort of thing. Ghost insects, colloquially. Oh yeah, here comes the interesting. Where other phasmids imitate sticks or leaves, this one's a living reed. It disguises itself among the reeds here in the Insulidian coast. She looks at you in the eye and nods thoughtfully, hence its name, the Insulidian phasmid. Perhaps you'll end up co-discovering the phasmid with us, officer. I knew it, the lieutenant sighs. We're going to be chasing made-up insects with cryptozoologists. It's not made-up, officer, I can assure you. It's simply elusive, so much so that most establishment zoologists doubt it exists at all. What makes you think the phasmids around here? Well, some teenagers making out the reeds saw one. They didn't know what it was, of course, so there was a brief article in a local newspaper about their encounter with a ghost insect that looked like reeds. Gary sent us the clipping. So a newspaper clipping is all the evidence you have? Of course, most phasmid sightings turn out to be false alarms, but their description matched the Insulidian phasmid perfectly, and they didn't even know what they were looking at. Enthusiasm has wiped the worry from her face. Her eyes sparkled behind her glasses. You seem really excited about this cryptid. I suppose I have something of a personal connection to the insulating phasmid. All scientists have their little hobby horses. Does it have cool powers? Yes, it can blend in almost perfectly among the reeds. Her face lights up at the thought of it. It's how it stayed hidden all these years, centuries even. Is it valuable? Oh, I doubt it. No one gets into cryptozoology for the money, sweetie. Is it dangerous? She chuckles to herself. Not at all. Why else would it hide itself so carefully? So what's so special about this stick bug then? Oh dear, I'm afraid I'm not explaining this very well. It's very special. The woman's face flushes with embarrassment. Merle can explain it much better. I wish you could hear him describe it. Then you'd understand, I'm sure. Maybe you could convince her to tell you about some cool cryptids. Medium failure. You're an enthusiastic idiot, but you're still an idiot. I want to know everything about cryptids. Living cryptids, extinct cryptids, marine cryptids, land cryptids. Bring it on. We don't have time for cryptozoology 101. Let's get back to work, shall we? Well, thank you, Captain Killjoy. Let's talk about the phone. Because that shouldn't be cut. Oh, and I can't ask him about it. Okay, what else do we have? Oh, we've got the cook. That's a new one. A thin man is smoking below an exhaust hood, occasionally sipping from his mug. It's supposed to be the Whirling's cook. As you step in, he nods towards the table and says something in a completely foreign language. The only words you can make are Gorosy and Kubik. Okay, that's definitely not his name. Whatever you do, don't call him Gorosy Kubik, please. It's not funny. Hello, sir. Got time for a few questions? The man puts his cup down and replies something, his left hand drawing arcs in the air. Got some impressive pots there. He smiles and bangs his ladle against each of his pots in turn. It's almost like music, especially with the sounds of assorted dishes boiling and simmering on the stove. Do you know what's behind the door? He looks up at you, then looks away quickly, shrugging and muttering something to himself. Shrugging is an international sign for, no, I don't know what's behind the door. Well, stay masculine. What? Why is that a means of saying goodbye to people? Alright, whatever. And I'm assuming Grunge Northern Lion still has nothing to say. Yep. In fact, he hasn't even changed. Well, what's this, lady?
Let me handle this.
Woman says to the crowd in the mess hall before turning to
You
you.
seem a little different today. Less hospitable.
You are far from home, Lieutenant. This isn't a district known for its love of self-proclaimed militiamen.
You're right, Lieutenant. She did seem a little friendlier sitting on that corner. Not a muscle moves in her face, but her eyes trace yours, stern and perceptive.
You are looking for Titus Hardy, who you think has information on the murder the RCM is investigating. You want to interview him.
She points to the man standing in the middle of the room.
That's Titus. Talk to him. But know this. I'll be keeping an eye on you. No strong-arming, nothing official. The District of Martinez does not recognize your authority to make arrests.
It doesn't matter if you recognize our authority. We will make an arrest if we have to.
She says nothing. Her glare speaks for her. Could this be the Miss Beaufort that Easy Leo mentioned? The one Mr. Everett sent to law school? Are you Lizzie, Elizabeth, Miss Beaufort? I suggest not wasting time on trivial pleasantries and focusing on why you're here, Titus Hardy. She points to the tall man by the table. Even though she has excellent control over herself, something had moved behind her eyes and the way she stands in her face. Hardy? Not yet. I had another question. What if I want to talk to you, not Titus? What you want is of no significance, officer. Don't test your authority in Martinez. In Martinez, you are no one. Why are you so aggressive? Aggressive? You make your living enforcing violence. These people are just dock workers. Huh. So you were spying on us, and now you represent murder suspects. Just dock workers. Listen, you moral intern lackeys, you're a mob enforcing the unlawful privatization of Revocol. 20 fat men in the Occident are stealing it all, and you're their bodyguards. F yeah, the tall, broad-shouldered man takes a sip of his beer. So, ask what you came to ask, or get back to your commanders. Huh. So these are political ones. Again. Because we have... This is probably fascist, I think. I gotta... Okay, so communist, fascist, ultra-liberal, and moralist. So this is probably moralist. That's probably ultra-liberal, socialist, and fascist? World needs a financial buffer zone. No need to get emotional? Maybe? Yeah, sure. No one's emotional here. Her expression stiffens further. Do your job, ask questions, then leave. What's your role in all this? Obviously, I'm a lawyer, a legal counselor for the Dockworkers Union. She crosses her arms. I would urge you to consider what you say to my clients. What are you going to do to me? Huh, the lieutenant's not satisfied with the approach. What are we going to do? To you? She starts laughing. It's a cold laughter, devoid of joy. Union isn't going to do anything to you. It's not a crime syndicate, it's a labor organization. Ugh. A gruff hump from the table. Goddamn right it is. If anything, it's the RCM who do things to people. She shakes her head, but we digress. Dr. Titus, then. And we're leaving. I didn't realize she was with them. Well, shoot, I was going to ask her about, ammonia. I guess never mind on that. So that's why she gave up the gloves so easily, because they were just a cover. Well, can I take the freaking body down yet? I'm assuming no. Oh. She's up on the roof there. How the hell do I get up there? Let's see. You've waited long enough. Okay. So it's slightly better. Do I throw up again? I just throw up again. I wonder how many times I can get this guy to just hurl. You try to very professionally look at the corpse, but your stomach contracts. You manage to keep it in once. Second time, not so much. When the vomiting is done, your cheeks are wet with tears. Spit and say nothing. You okay, officer? You feel the lieutenant pat you on the back. Heavy, rhythmic pats. The weight is reassuring, like crenal on solid fortification. Pat, pat, pat. Facing tough odds here. It's aggravated by further by alcohol withdrawal. Why can't I keep it in if I've been a cop my whole life? I've seen captains puke their guts out. It never gets easier. You never get used to the smell. Every Monday is cadaver day. Throw up, investigate, throw up. Initial autopsy, throw up, bag it. Pats you on the back again. Then drive to the station. Maybe throw up on the way there if you didn't bag the thing tight enough. You seem to be fine. I think I've lost my sense of smell. There's a pause. A white lie. Not being hungover helps too. Can't we do something else? I think I just want to... No, do it without me. I just can't keep it down. No, this is a two-man assignment, because it needs 2 officers to complete. I need your help. He withdraws his hand and looks you in the eye. You need to get your shit together. Okay. Volumetric shit compressor. We should talk to the locals. Find something else to do while the wind changes. It's pretty bad right now. You've received a thought. Okay, so more in the thought cabinet. Okay, so what thought cabinet things should I deal with? We have the map. But that's not that helpful. Okay. Oh, I'm working on rigorous self-critique. And we've got that for the next hour and 33 minutes. So, volumetric shit compressor. Your shit is apart, and it's rather unbecoming of a cop and a human being. It's supposed to be the opposite of that, together. Compressed in a small area. To achieve a solid level of shit compression, squeeze your butt cheeks together for 30 minutes. Do something similar with 2 hemispheres of your brain. Talk to people. Maybe that'll help. I might go for that. I don't know. What else do we have? Magnesium-based life form, bringing of the law, Lawjaw, advanced race theory, anti-object task force, Jamrock shuffle, actual art degree, overproductive honor glands, interesting, finger pistols, Detective Cousteau, caustic echo, apricot chewing gum scented 1, white morning bow collector, kingdom of conscience, indirect modes of taxation, regular law official, Mazovian socio-economics, cop of the apocalypse, some kind of superstar, torque dork, coach physical instrument, aces low, aces high, hobo cop, inexplicable feminist agenda, and Revicolian nationhood. And there's also the 15th Indo tribe, which is something I could think about. So, oh, there's more of these, aren't there? Okay, we'll just see which ones pop up then. Well, let's go back into the gardening thing. See if there's anything that's popped up. There's probably less loot for me now. Which is unfortunate, because loot would help, but no, it doesn't look like we got anything here. I mean, luckily we have enough money to get what I want and need. I just would like to have more so I could buy some ridiculous stuff. Like, it's super tempting sometimes with these games to just hack in a bunch of money so I can just, like, buy the dumb shit early and see what happens. And I realize, like, that subverts some things, but every once in a while it's kind of fun to, like, just buy a traffic light. What the hell are you going to do with said traffic light? Hell if I know. I want to try something. I've noticed a little bit of screen tearing. Is VSync not an option in this? It ain't. That's weird. Could just be the refresh rate on my computer as well. So we gotta grill that guy. Let's deal with our bottles first. Looks like there might be some developments around here too. Oh, this is new. See, several packaged raincoats fill a low shelf beneath a display of croissants and juice bottles. Raincoats are transparent, except for the big Frit slogan on the back. Bonus endurance. The packages are small, discreet, sloppily stacked, making them easier to take unnoticed. No need to worry about knocking over display. What's that? What's what? The girl leans over the counter. It's a raincoat? If you want to buy one, it's only 4 real. She taps the glass counter. The raincoats patiently await purchase. Her attention is drawn to the raincoat. Stealing one undetected will now be more difficult. I'm not gonna steal one. Here you go. The clerk removes the garment from the lower shelf and hands it over. Okay, so we do have to make some amount of money today, because if I want to get anything that's important. Let's see. Are these cigarettes? Oh, vices. No. And she probably doesn't have anything new to say.
Is this about the questions again? Because I don't really know anything.
Does Frit have a warehouse in the back of the Whirling in Rags? Warehouse? I don't know. Maybe... I don't really care what Frit does. Come on, give me something to work with here. She looks up from under her brow. Fine, Frit doesn't have a warehouse. Just a little back room here, okay? She turns back to her magazine without waiting for you to respond. Do you have any ammonia for sale? She looks up from her magazine, eyes filled with tired ennui. Yes, she hitches her thumb towards the end of the counter. What we have here is in the medicine cabinet. Take a look for yourself. Okay. I want to buy some ammonia. Okay. Don't, like, overdo it or anything. Okay, so that should help. We still have, actually, a decent amount of money. Enough for at least another day in the hotel. And I could always just hobo cop if I needed to. I wonder if you can beat this game after failing every single instance. Like, can you beat this game without it succeeding at a single check? I'm assuming, maybe, probably, you probably would die. Like, you'd have to actually avoid stuff like, Okay, I should probably sell the La Delta postcard at some point. Well, okay, that's better. I have ammonia, and I waited long enough. I did just quick save, right? I don't know. There we go. You crack open the ammonia ampule and breathe in. The odor of death is still stronger. It's a smell of the mind telling you to run, and your stomach to wring itself empty. With your eyes squinting, you stand in it. They always do that. They do after 7 days, yes. We're deep in decomposition here. The man before you is naked, but for a pair of underpants and enameled boots. His skin is greenish, marbled with decaying veins and blotched by lividity. A fading web of tattoos covers his chest and shoulders. The cargo belt used to fasten him to the branch above appears to be industrial in strength. Inspect the boots. The material appears to be ceramic. Its clean white stands in stark contrast to the decaying flesh above the knee. The man wore thick polymer socks, probably for padding. A fine array of interlocking plates covers them. Delicate and fragile, they feel alien to the world around you, out of place somehow. These are clearly not boots. They're armor, possibly part of a larger set. These aren't boots, are they? This is the armor he was stripped of. Indeed, with his notebook under his arm, the lieutenant crouches to inspect the soles. Technically speaking, these are sabatons, not boots. Oh, the lieutenant uses a it's mnemonic, so Mnemotechnique A6. That's just not any notebook. It's a classic. Thanks, super useful to know. It's all you, baby. What kind of armor is this exactly? Ceramic plate, zirconium dioxide most likely. This is where the make would be. Where? Under the heel, fair weather. Turns the boot slightly. Fair weather model T500 VE. Guessing that's vitreous enamel. This is advanced stuff. Where's the rest of it? Scavenged by the locals? He nods, piece by piece. He's been out here for 7 days. It'd be odd if they didn't. We should keep a lookout for these pieces. The armor could yield information. He nods towards Kuno, who's eyeing you suspiciously. This is one thing he might actually know. Maybe he was just wearing these boots and there's no rest of the armor? No, I think he had something precious underneath the clothes. They had to remove the jeans and shirt. We found to get to it. And this kind of armor is often worn under fabrics. What if they told him to strip before they hung him? No. He could have just been walking around naked? No, what if they told him to strip before they hung him to demean him? They usually hang them completely naked for that. La Puta Madre, the Mazada, the Besmerdes, and the like. This one still has his underpants. I've been talking about underpants. Clearly Kuno would like to interject with something here, but there's not enough for him to hold on to. Material looks out of place here. It is, it's expensive. The lieutenant draws a line in the condensation on the ceramic with his index finger. We requested similar material for our tactical units for years now. The constabularies deemed it too costly. In that time, we've lost 6 men to semi-automatics. How much are we talking about? For a full set, about 4 years of wages? For the northwest region of Revachol, an officer's average yearly income is 5,500 real, unadjusted for rank. Wait, my yearly pay is 5,000? No, that's a lot, I take it. As a wage, it's regrettably small. But for a piece of hardware, yes, that's a lot. Look at this man afford such expensive hardware. That's for us to find out. My initial report on the area suggests he was a security guard for the harbor company, but that's just hearsay. Look pretty advanced for a security guard. I agree, this equipment is way beyond what a guard could afford. Knock on the boot. A small belt-like sound fills the air, like tapping on the side of a porcelain cup. Oh, bell-like. Sounds fragile. It's anything but. This material is a kinetic redistributor. It spreads kinetic energy horizontally from plate to plate, dissipating it entirely. He points to the boots. See? Faint organic lines cover the plates where they separate into smaller ones. These plates then divide into smaller plates until there are hundreds of them all together. Like whorls of floorboards. The design looks organic, influenced by highly resistant wood material, like lignum vitae and ebony perhaps. What does this remind me of? If trees were made of porcelain, this is what their cross-sections would look like. Run your fingers over the lines. The smooth, glossy surface fractures into even more intricate interconnections, peaking on the right sabaton, where you notice the whorls are in the shape of a letter and number, combination E50.100.1000. Looks like there's a serial number on the right sabaton. Good. Can you read it to me? He tips the dying ballpoint of his pen on the... He tips the drying ballpoint of his pen on his tongue. E. Okay, run the number of the victim's armor. We have the make and number. That's something. We can use the radio on my Kanema when we're done. Either station can chase it for us. Pull the boot off. This feels dangerous. Are you sure? Better not even try. Back off and look at the corpse. Okay. I'm gonna save. Now that we can interact with this guy, I'm gonna see if I can pull the boot off. It's probably a bad idea. Grab a boot under your arm. Stench fills your nostrils as you push downward, and an ominous creaking sound comes from above. Stop! The lieutenant's voice is sharp. He looks at you, the boot under your arm. Big's gonna pull his head off. Brutal. Oh, this is a bad idea, isn't it? You're gonna pull his head off. I'm gonna pull his head off, right? Yes, that is what I said. You'll compromise the coroner's case if you do. Please don't. Okay, it does look like the neck isn't going to take much more. Being dead for a week has all but liquefied his muscles. Let's see, are we not detectives? There might be clues inside the boot. What clues do you need? You already found a number. Besides, he taps on the boot. There's no way you're getting them off. All the organic matter in his body has been flowing down into the boots. They're fused to his feet now. Why do you even think the locals haven't scavenged them yet? You're sure there's a way to peel them off. But first, the body would need to be down. And second, it would be better if the lieutenant wasn't around. Steal a dead man's boots, but that would be dishonorable. Refuse. For honor. Alright then. You can pay the hostel bill in honor points. How many honor points have you collected? There are honor points? Of course there aren't. Don't be naive. You still feel as though there might be some honor points. And if there are, you surely earned one. What's going to happen to the boots then? Processing will take care of them. The situation in the morgue, it'll yield nothing, but we must pick our fights. Looks towards the boots. Shall we continue? Let's look at the corpse. Check the belt! The hangman's knot is pulled tightly by the weight of the corpse below. Yellow, hard-edged polyester cuts into his neck. Above, a sliding buckle ties the belt to the branch. This is a steel-reinforced cargo lashing belt, big brother of the regular cargo belt. It's used for tying cargo under 6 rotary airships. Don't ask me how I know, but this is a lashing belt used for airlifting cargo. Airlifting? I thought it was used on lorries and for strapping cargo to them. Apparently this is the reinforced kind, for air transport. My brain tells me so. He nods. The local harbor uses 6 rotors to shuffle containers around. I get the sense they used whatever was on hand without paying much attention to not incriminating themselves. We sure wanted him to stay up there. The rope's reinforced with steel wiring. I was afraid it would be. He rises to inspect the noose. Thin steel wiring, parallel strands. This makes getting him down more problematic than I had assumed. How'd they even get him up there? A noose is one of those things that's easier one way around. He points to the buckle tying to the branch above. Did they climb up using the kid's ladder? That ladder can't carry a grown man. I didn't see any splintering either. Did you? I think they lassoed the branch, then pulled on the belt to close the buckle. He makes a pulling motion. Could be. The shape of the branch supports the theory. And we're assuming the dock workers from the harbor did it? I'm still approaching this as a lynching, yes. Motivated by the ongoing strike, he politely raises an eyebrow. You? I feel like it was something else. Yes, he covers his nose. It often is. This belt worries me. Inspect the tattoos. An intricate web of blue lines stretched across the torso, from right shoulder to the solar plexus. Each time they intersect, a small white star is formed in their crossing. Hundreds of fading asterisks riddle the skin. Their concentration is highest around his heart. His corpse is marked by stars. What will mine be marked by? Alcohol and heartbreak. Is this a map of the night sky? Map of the stars? He turns around to breathe before inspecting it closer. I do see some similarity to astronomical charts. Great century Messinian, maybe. But this seems more particular, customized somehow. As if someone left out most of the night sky, filtering it through personal choice. The principle of this filter remains unknown to you. The thought dissipates as you feel as though you are only half right. I'm missing something here. So am I. A sudden ringing fills the air, and the lieutenant pulls down the zipper of his orange jacket. Oh. He takes a thin piece of milled aluminum from his coat pocket and pulls it open. It sounds like a sword being unsheathed. A small lens appears. Some sort of camera. Let the lieutenant work. Shit, Kuno. What the F is that? An instant color camera. He produces 2 metal-capped ampules and clicks them into place on the side of the apparatus. A thin slot shines there. I only have 2 ampules, so nobody move. I don't want to waste one. He points at the camera of the corpse, peering into it. The lens needs adjusting, then... A shrill flash, followed by the breaking of a small ampule of glass. You see streams of color pour into the thick, glossy piece of paper rolling out. On it, a perfect color copy of the dead man's tattooed chest. In case we need it, the lieutenant says, and shakes the paper, letting it dry in the cold wind. Cool machine. Yes, he slides the camera closed and tucks it away on his belt. It's pretty cool, isn't it? There's only 1 ampule left. Use it wisely. What do we need the photo for? It contains insight to the victim's person. By his build, I'd say this is a man of physical violence. The story he wanted his body to tell was important to him. It's his letter to us. Someone should decipher it. We'll need to show it around. Say nothing. Here, a souvenir. He hands you the piece of rolled up photo paper. It's no larger than a pack of cigarettes. Don't lose it. Okay, the glassy-eyed corpse looks by. His mouth mute and his skin as colorful as the chemical rainbow on the photo paper, teeming with opportunistic organisms. Look him in the eye. His eyes are milky white and blind to the world, protruding comically from their sockets. There's no one home, just subaquatic terrors there. Dark brown hair grows on his head. His face is ready to explode from the organic processes inside. The death's head grin has passed. What remains is an unrecognizable mess. Tell me, who are you, dead man? It's Inland Empire? I've been using it. I'm gone. But where have you gone? Into the wild pale yonder. Where's that? In the past. Way out in the west. I can see you're gone, but who are you? I'm a joke. Look at me. You are now, but who were you when you were alive? A killer. A mother effer and a killer. Another question for you. What's happening? What do you mean? I'm talking to you. It's the power of your black frothy liquid starts bubbling from his lips. Imagination. Go ahead, ask more questions. You effing love questions. Why do I love questions so much? Because you're a copperoony. Look at them all go. Do you want more questions? Yeah, give me a comical amount of questions. Coming right up, copperoony. Rooney. This is getting upbeat now. My name's Rooney? F no. You're no Rooney. Rooney is not who I am. I'm Harry. No, you're not a Harry either. You're a mother effer. That's who you are, Rooney the mother effer. Why do I feel like I've forgotten something terrible? Because you have. Who killed you? Love did me in, Brother Capo. It was love all along. Can you ask me a question? Sure, Lobo. I can ask you a question. Why are you doing this? What? Looking at my face, motionless, looking into my eyes, standing here. Why are you investigating my murder? Maybe this will all lead to something. Something indescribable. Something unforeseen. Miraculous? Ha! The clown lips on the corpse appear to smile. The face rotates before you slowly. Something is on its way. Something hidden. It's coming. A miracle from the northwest. It's almost here. You feel it in the air on your hands. The cold spring air smoothing them over. Enough. You can come back and look at his face anytime you want. Ask me your little questions. Freshen your memory. Create associations. Remind yourself of your mortality. Capo-Lopo. Capo-Lopo? Maybe? Squint and take a step back. As you narrow your eyes, the monster before you blurs into a violent mess of green and pink. This is a trick. You've done it before. Pink is where the blood settled in the first hour's post-mortem. You can use it to see if the corpse has been tampered with. Does the position at the time of death match the discoloration? Only the lower extremities are pink with a dash of blue. His fatted hands, thighs, and neck just above the noose. The rest of the corpse appears dark green in the cold spring air. His face and hands are pink. Thighs, too. I see it. He adjusts his glasses. His neck, too. The lividity goes right up his chin. We have good and well-pronounced discoloration here. Relax your eyes. The monster comes back into focus. An explosion of color, coursing with dark marbled veins. His stomach appears pregnant with something. Black liquid streams down his thigh and onto his boot. So what do you think? I think he was up right after his death. His hands, feet, and neck are discolored. Agreed. He points to the belt, especially on the neck. Belt acted like a tourniquet, keeping the blood in the head. Hypostasis supports a hanging. Yep, seems like a lynching to me. Everything here seems to corroborate that assumption, but we should still get him down before assigning a probable cause of death. Think he's dead. I agree. His personality is no longer part of this world. Totally dead. No, better not say that. Too heavy or... Nah. The world no longer stores his personality in its composition. There was a time for that, and it ended 7 days ago. He nods in agreement with this advanced piece of conceptualization. Having mulled it over, the lieutenant says, that sounds about right, yes. Cover your nose, something's coming out of him. A pool of blood and feces is eaten into the frozen mud below the man's feet. Purged liquid is dripping onto it, drop by drop. The victim appears to have contained no more than half a kilogram of digestion at time of death. The FE is saying, that's talking about shit. We got lucky. Did we? I don't feel lucky. He was beaten up. See the bruises? I do. Most of them are post-mortem. Even if all of them, maybe even all of them, the delinquents have made our jobs harder with their little sport. Stop talking in riddles, coin slot. It means you effed him up good, Kuno. Effed him up brutal-like. Back off. Catch your breath. So, how do we get him down? Kim stops to think, then checks his notes. You're sure we've finished the preliminary examination of the cadaver. We might miss some of those things once he's down. Have another look first. Yep, preliminary examination is done. Let's get him down from there. Steel reinforced belt presents a unique challenge. I brought chain cutters, but I don't think it's a good angle of approach to the belt. He doesn't actually think the challenge is unique. He thinks it's frustrating, annoying, and harder than he thought. Cadaver is a good 1.2 meters up, and neither of us can reach the belt without assistance. And even if we do, there's a question of cutting the airship strength material. Let's see, we could saw the branch. I'm up there and saw the branch? Yeah, seems dangerous. Has to be a less risky way with less falling down off trees. Maybe we can ask for help in the harbor. I was really hoping we wouldn't. The Union appear to be suspects in the case. Seems like a dangerous route to go down. Let's reconsider. Let's see. I'm out of ideas. Let's have another look at him. Leave. Okay. I feel like we can just leave him up there for some amount of time. We should probably talk to Kuno. I don't like talking to Kuno. Kid's a shit, but I should talk to him anyway. But first, I guess I will see you guys in the next episode of Disco Elysium. Let's see. I think I kind of talked about this a little bit, but some of the music in this game is copyrighted, and I can't always catch it before it hits YouTube. So there might be like 1 or 2 sections in this game where the audio goes real weird, because that's YouTube has a tool that removes copyrighted music, which is awesome for me, but really inconvenient because it still cuts the quality in kind of a very strange manner, and there's not much I can really do about that. I really wish developers just didn't involve copyrighted music at all. Like, this game's music is good, but it really didn't need to be this licensed stuff, or, well, unlike, I don't know. I mean, it is licensed just for the game and not, you know, for YouTubers. Anywho. Just figured I'd say that, because there's definitely going to be a couple of points where that happens, and like I said, not much I can do about that.